Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan.
So Jeff and Spencer are here
Hello.
from the Orlando Science Center.
There we go.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's the way we do it now.
That's exciting.
Well, we lost Sam, so I'm putting in as many of your standard morning show. I mean, I'm gonna have a
Gags
symbol. I'm gonna have a symbol here. I'm gonna have a little host that sits next to me, like a little sidekick, a little
Gonna have to be real little.
Yeah.
Spencer laughed real hard. That's the only time Spencer's ever laughed at
Yeah,
all.
right.
Spencer's like, "Get him!"
That was it.
So let's talk eclipse.
Yeah, man.
Because the big solar eclipse is happening this Saturday. And
did you know that this is the first time that I believe in America that we've ever had two solar eclipses do an X over a city called Maconda? And that's why the giants are going to open up out of the earth and kill us all.
Oh, I saw that on TikTok.
Okay, you did see that one. Okay.
Get off Netflix.
Well,
That's all I'm going to say.
A very reliable lady named Carol told me that in her video.
Well, you joke around, but you know how many humans were executed because of the solar eclipse?
I know.
Like how many
Could be a dark
deaths
tale.
did this cause?
Dark tale.
I mean, throughout human civilization, I mean, the solar eclipse must have been terrifying for lots of humans.
Is it not
They had
terrifying
no idea.
now? I don't know about you guys, but when I see it, I'm like, let's hope that is what they think it is.
Yeah.
Do you guys get that feeling?
It
I'm not
is-
trying to
it
scare
is-
anybody, but
it is crazy. I mean, there was a war that actually ended because the eclipse happened in the middle of the battle, and
Yeah,
they
that's
figured,
wild.
you know what,
Oh.
the gods aren't happy with us. We should play nice.
Oh, I didn't
Right.
know
So
that. That's
it's-
amazing.
It's a big crazy thing, and this one is coming up on Monday, April 8th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
And
What did
You
you
guys,
you know,
say?
guys had me
yeah.
Saturday.
What's happening on Saturday is just for you.
I like
Yeah.
everybody going
God.
outside on Saturday, putting their
Yeah.
glasses on. And then
I'm sorry.
And then
Tom sold
looking
us a
at
bill
it-
of goods.
I was looking how a nuclear clock works for another
Yeah.
question for Spencer,
Yeah.
and I.
Yep.
That's the
Naturally.
special Tom eclipse on Saturday.
all of the
But-
So
chat
Monday.
room, yeah,
But
all the
the
chat room
Monday,
knew,
April 8th.
and they were willing to let it roll.
Yeah, they were just letting it go.
Yeah, they were gonna let it go. So all of our listeners would have walked out. They're like, put their glasses on. They're like, I mean, I guess I see it. You know,
I like to think there's going to be
sorry.
an eclipse that scientists know about, but they don't tell anyone, just to like really freak everyone out. Give everyone one last hurrah, of,
Well,
like
I
not
mean,
knowing it's coming.
that is
you know?
kind of what people think the government would do if there was some impending danger. So I mean, you're not
Yeah.
that far
Well,
off. But like,
without the internet or any scientists to talk to, there would be no way of ever knowing. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I mean,
So,
it's
10 years ago.
impossible.
if we lose the scientists, that's gonna be hard. That's gonna be a hard way back.
So this eclipse is happening Monday. I apologize, and let's talk about what even it is, because it's funny.
Great
because
question.
There's a ton. I don't know if you knew this, of misinformation being spread around the internet.
Like
heard
my
of it.
Maconda,
lightning
Totally
speed.
shocking.
like the X over Maconda and the
Giant uprising.
and the state park, and then the Earth opens up and the giant comes out. I guess they're doing some sort of Attack on Titan, like anime. Like, I don't know why you would even think of that. Like I can see it being scary, and I have a great imagination, and I don't go to giants, but
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So
It sounds like the plot of the new Godzilla movie. actually.
Okay,
Yeah.
and which I've heard is really, really good.
Yes.
I've heard that is an excellent movie.
So maybe the eclipse is just a big marketing ploy for the new Godzilla movie.
Okay,
Yeah.
I would like that.
Yeah.
So Spencer, explain what it even is.
Well, you know, the thing is, there's two types of eclipses. I think we talk about lunar eclipse. I don't know. We really talk about solar eclipses more often because they're more exciting. But lunar eclipses happen all the time. But you do have solar and lunar eclipses, and then there's two types of solar eclipses, and then it gets even subdivided into that. But what we're dealing with here is when the moon goes between us and the sun. Very easy. So literally, it just blocks the sun, creates a shadow across the Earth. And if we were looking at it, the Earth from the ISS, you would just see like a shadow, like the Earth's shadow, or the moon's shadow rather, a big circle just stretch across the planet. And so if you're inside that shadow, you'll see a total solar eclipse where the moon is fully blocking out the sun because it's close enough to us that's going to fully obstruct the sun, but not the corona, which is super exciting. You'll see like a glow of light, a halo of light around the sun, the corona itself, this like external atmosphere of the sun you never get to see because the regular sun blinds
And then
out.
it makes me think of the television show Heroes.
Just like that. And
Hayden Panettiere.
right.
Isn't that what it was?
Why did that make you think
There's
of that?
probably an eclipse in that show, I think.
No, I thought their logo for Heroes, it almost looked like,
Yeah.
because I thought that
a show from 2006.
Now, hold on a second. I'm going to bring it back around, non-believer.
right.
I thought that there was something about an eclipse. Isn't that how they got their powers?
I think it triggered their powers.
Yeah, but wasn't it the collider?
don't,
It was the Hadron Collider plus the eclipse, which is good. Isn't that what they're doing? Aren't they running the collider?
Like specifically on the eclipse stage?
I think they are, to give us all powers like
Interesting.
heroes.
Wow.
Hayden Panettiere.
So
Now she's all about saving the whales and
Whales
the
are
dolphins.
cool.
Yeah, she's done singing country music, and now she's saving the
Yes,
world.
I'm
Right.
telling you, Jeff knows a
She's-
lot, man.
yeah,
I'm
I'm a big-
putting Jeff
I'm
on my
team-
trivia team.
Team Hayden. I tell
Right,
you.
right.
so Spencer, I've seen, speaking of misinformation being spread on social media, I saw this guy explaining that we are unique in the fact that our moon is the perfect size to block out our sun exactly, and that must mean that it was somehow designed because no other planet has a moon that's perfect size to block out the sun at the exact. And then you're showing some illustration of the moon blocking out the sun, but I'm like,
Right.
no, that depends on where you're looking from. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like,
yeah.
because you don't get a total solar eclipse everywhere on Earth, only in a certain spots.
Coordinates, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're looking at a lunar eclipse, you're seeing the shadow cast onto the moon itself. It's like the whole nighttime side of the Earth can basically see a lunar eclipse. But like you're saying, a solar eclipse is a shadow. It's a streak across the Earth. So a very narrow band will actually get to see it. We in Orlando, we're not going to see the total eclipse, right? Well, you won't see that corona. We'll see we're like in like this fuzzy part of the shadow, the little gray part. So we'll see like most of the sun blocked out, but not all of it. So we'll get a partial eclipse is what you call it. But that's only going to happen, that strip of totality will go from Texas to New York, and so anyone along that path will be right in there and see that beautiful eclipse. We'll get a partial down here in Florida, and it stretches out. But, like, people in Europe, like at the Large Hadron Collider you're talking about, they don't even have an eclipse, right?
They're just
some it's just another day for them. It's another Monday, Saturday? Was
I
it
just eat my croissant.
Yeah.
just another Monday.
I would just sit there and eat my croissant,
And then
drink my coffee.
they may have eclipses that we don't see.
Exactly, yeah. And the Pacific Ocean has tons of
What?
eclipses that
All
no
the
one
time.
sees.
Wait a minute. Europe has eclipses and we don't see.
Yeah.
That ain't cool.
It is funny that no one puts two and two together as like based upon where you're standing on the Earth
Right.
Is what you
is
get.
where you're looking at it. It's different because the Earth is pretty big and pretty small at the same time. I try to explain it to my sons.
Yeah.
It's very.
I don't have those conversations with Maisie.
Right,
I
yeah.
find them to be a bit frustrating.
The shadow of what that person's talking about, though, is real. With the sun is 400 times further away than our moon, and it's 400 times bigger, and so they appear to be the same size in our sky, and that's weird. Like, that's a weird coincidence that doesn't need to exist. Every other planet has tons of moons, and they don't have that same relationship.
I think that's may have been what he was kind of basing this off.
Right.
of,
That has to lead to creationism or something. It
Yeah.
could just be a coincidence as well, which is, a very cool, strange coincidence. And it might be relevant to, I don't know, maybe life forms because there's a weird tidal thing that happens at a certain distance that we don't quite understand. There might be stuff there, but as far as we know, it's just because it just happened.
Do you find it irritating when someone looks at data and then
Why are you looking at me?
attributes meaning to it? Because I feel like human beings immediately want to put meaning to everything.
Patterns, right?
Yeah, patterns.
Is
meaning,
this like you yelling at me for making a voice, like trying to figure out what my dog's thinking?
Well, no, it's just
I'm like, look at him. He's so sad right now.
You're like, why do these numbers line up? And how does this that must be for a reason.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's like,
The X
doesn't-
over Maconda. Yeah.
it
That's
doesn't-
got to
Yeah,
be a
100%.
reason.
Yeah.
And it's like nothing has to be a reason.
Right.
It's
It's a real problem in physics right now of the beautification of science, right? Like math is getting complicated. Like when you get into the quantum physics and stuff, like it's no longer simple. Like you can't teach a high schooler true physics anymore. But like Newtonian physics was beautiful in a way. It was simple and understandable and clean. But like it's getting complicated. And there's like an inherent problem in the science community of just like, is this even real? Because like shouldn't reality be fundamentally simple that then stems into complication? So is there something missing, some simple thing we're missing? So like this is actually a real thing in science outside of the mumbo jumbo crossing giant uprising of Mississippi.
Well,
or
that
wherever.
stuff is it's just straight insanity, and like why people are even wasting time on it makes me think. Well, of course you realize that that's entertainment, and you're just searching for clicks.
Oh, yeah, of
and
course,
you
yeah.
and you should be like, I don't know, you have no business on the internet. Go away.
so
Because you are like monkeying up the system of what we want to know.
Right, right.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. Then we'll go back to Monday, the solar eclipse, and the Science Center, and we'll talk about it. But
Yeah.
like there are
Don't go to Saturday's eclipse. Wait for the Monday one.
Wait for the Monday one.
Monday
It'll be
one's
much
gonna
better.
be
Much
much
better.
better.
Monday one's the big one.
Yeah, go out there and
Yeah.
look right at noon
Yeah.
on Saturday.
It's like,
Look
2
at the
days,
sun.
it's like 2 days of Rockville. The
Yeah, yeah.
Saturday one's got Kid Rock on the bill, not as good. You want to wait for the Monday one. Monday one, it's Kiss.
Yes. Saturdays is just the opening.
Exactly, exactly. That's the beginning.
So I think what bothers me and what probably causes lots of conspiracies and people looking at like, wait a minute, you don't know everything. Like, and I was researching certain science news about the stuff to talk to Spencer about, and I got into like nuclear clocks, and they basically have atomic clocks, right? If you look up how atomic clocks work, you could barely understand it. like even the
Is that why you were
explanation.
grunting in there? I
Right.
heard him in there. It
Yeah.
sounded like he was in there lifting furniture.
Because I never even bothered to ever look up how an atomic clock even works. But apparently it's like shooting lasers into electrons and then measuring the frequency and then using that as the frequency of the electron as a metronome to measure time.
And that's how they measure it.
Yeah.
And that's why it's more true and more accurate. Is that what it is?
It's the most accurate clock we have.
Makes
and
sense.
And then they've now discovered a nuclear clock, or at least the potential for a nuclear clock, which could be more accurate, like 800 times more accurate than atomic clock. And that is that's shooting a laser at an atomic nuclei, which you couldn't do before, but they found this element called Theron 229, and they're like,
Theron 229.
Great element.
Okay,
That sounds like an old
So-
movie. My favorite movie is the Alfred Hitchcock classic, Theron 229.
I promise I have a point because I'm butchering all of this, but as I'm reading this, and you can read it, everybody can try
I'm
to
not
read
gonna
it and
read
understand
it.
it.
I'm not gonna read
There's,
it.
By the way, there's no way you'll understand this, so it's all for nothing.
That's a Tom challenge.
But what I do understand is they figured out this, right? And so then it goes into another story how they 3D mapped, like they just produced the biggest 3D map of the entire universe recently.
Sure.
And it's provided more insight into dark energy, which
Okay.
we still haven't figured out.
I'm
And
still
so
trying to harness my dark energy.
and so that's why we're figuring out how to make an atomic clock, right? But we don't know what dark energy is.
Right.
And that's what drives me crazy.
Right.
Like, how do we not know? Like,
Yeah.
we're so smart in so many other avenues, and we know so
So
much.
why do we still have things that we know they're there, we know they exist, but we don't know how to categorize them as a what?
Yeah, we don't know what they are.
That's a hell of a question.
We're confused by it. We're confused by the universe seems to be speeding up for whatever reason because of
Does
dark
it
energy.
make you think? Is this the question? Does it make you think? And then I'll pose it to Spencer. Does it make you not believe when they say, "Oh, we know what this is"? The nuclear clock. We know what that is. We don't know what. Like, does it make you not trust their answer for nuclear clock?
No.
They should know all of them.
It makes me mad that they don't know what dark energy is.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
I'm like,
Those people.
You know so much complicated things that how can
should
something
know it all.
How can something still be a mystery? And that mystery is probably what drives most scientists is the mystery of figuring something
What do you
out.
think, Spencer?
Yeah, that's an interesting one, right? I think that the really big question is how, when you look really big, like go into scale of the universe, you said the most accurate map of galaxies is what you're talking about. So the biggest things we know of, and then the smallest stuff we know of, quantum physics and how it relates to spinning electrons and clocks and nuclear decay and stuff like that. So it's like the biggest and the smallest. We have quantum physics and relativity, and they literally just don't work together. So like one of them is probably wrong, or like, or we certainly don't understand it in some fundamental way, or something. Like we can't explain why we look at big and we look at small and they just don't behave the same way, and they don't seem to map together mathematically. So like even besides that, we have like this whole frustration of like people don't even agree with each other on what real science is almost, right? Like if you're studying galaxies, you're going to be like, well, this atomic clock is useless. But if you're into quantum physics, you're going to be like, I don't care about dark energy. That doesn't affect me at all. That's some relativistic nonsense.
I'll give you a simple one that makes me angry with science. I have a cut on my hand. It's almost healed.
Oh.
I went to the cabinet a couple of nights ago, and I put hydrogen peroxide on it, and it bubbles up. And I like that because that's how you know it's working. And then I read an article where they said, that's absolutely not correct. You put that peroxide on there. All it's doing when it's bubbling is it's like there is a reaction, but it's just tearing down good cells and it's ruining your cut. It's literally double cutting yourself. And people are like, you should never use that. And I'm like, well, why did we ever use that? Why is it even in my cabinet?
Oh, yeah, it kills
like,
infection.
No. They're like, no, you're better just use water. Way better just use water.
Oh, really?
They're like, use
I
plain
believe
water
that, yeah.
and put your Band-Aid on it and go to get to work. It's a nothing. They're like, we've aged out of it. It's not a thing anymore. You shouldn't even buy it.
Was it just big peroxide?
Yeah, right.
I don't know, but
It's like the
I
food
sat
pyramid.
up. It's sort of like what you're talking about. I sat up for like 3 hours afterwards, mad, because I'm like, why? I have a jumbo, and it's always in the brown doo-doo bottle, and I'm like, why?
Now
why
what are you
did
gonna
I
do
buy
with
that?
it?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna flush it down the toilet, Spencer.
Do elephant toothpaste at least.
Okay, all right. Oh yeah, that's true. I can do some
get a
experiments.
catalyst, throw it in there.
I can do
it's
some
gonna-
fun.
Yeah.
Okay, fun. Okay, I'm down with fun. Thank you, Spencer. I was going
Yeah,
off
no
the
problem.
deep end. It's nice to have
Reel you back in. Get that
Science
dark
is
energy a
calming
little
me
bit
down a
less.
little bit. I'm a simple man.
No. But I guess the fact that we don't know everything is what causes some people to be like, see, well, you could be wrong about everything then. And then it's like, yeah, but we have a lot of evidence that points us towards, a lot of things that we know, like, a million pieces of evidence. And we're like, this is fact, basically. And, but there are things that we don't know. But that causes a lot of problems because people expect us to know everything.
Right.
And
I mean, scientists will be the first to tell you we don't know anything or that everything we do know is wrong because we fundamentally understand that like we're not even always describing literal reality, like what is occurring. It's just like it's a math thing that like helps describe what will happen. That's mostly what science is. It can make predictions using math because it happens to have worked in the past. We'll assume it works in the future. That's what most of science is. Describing what reality is something fundamentally different, right? And so it's like, I don't know, most of science, most of technologists, they're just working on trying to make technology better, just like make predictions and make things work better. So it's a little fundamentally different almost about what the question of science even is there.
Weird Al has a song called "Everything You Know Is Wrong," and I live my life by it. That's what Ghost of Manute Bull says in our chat room. I like that.
You know what? I've been falling into a internet hole of scientists theorizing that we may be the only intelligent life in the entire universe. Just because so many things happen on Earth that may be an anomaly.
I've never heard of this.
That to even cause intelligent life. You know what I'm saying?
So we're the outlier.
Like maybe that.
I've never thought of that. I've always thought of us as being abundant. We just haven't found each other yet.
Right.
Yeah. And then also, our life in a crazy, turbulent universe. Like we're just in a period that Earth happened to live long enough, and all these things happened. The dinosaurs got extinct.
So we're like an old
mammals-
rotary phone
yeah.
just still hanging
I mean,
on. Yeah.
if
Yeah,
that
old technology floating through space.
If that asteroid never hit Earth, dinosaurs would still be here. There may not be ever intelligent life. Like
Right,
no
reason.
way primates
I
evolved.
haven't heard this. This is
the,
good.
The dinosaurs would have eaten them all. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so like just the right amount of things happen on Earth in this window of time before an asteroid ends up killing us anyway, or our star that blows up Earth or whatever, and we may be the only thing. And I'm like,
that
well,
was pretty fun.
It makes you feel
Pressure,
special.
though. That's so much pressure. When humans
It
aren't
is.
great,
Yeah, we're ruining everything right
we're
now.
doing a lot of stuff, a lot of good, a lot of not so good, and we're the only ones.
Yeah.
Like, gosh, no. If we're at least there's millions of civilizations, at least we can mess this one up.
No,
It'll
see,
be fine.
I go the opposite on that, and that just probably shows the difference in our personalities. Knowing that we are the one and we're messing it up, pressure off.
Wow.
Yeah, to me, I'm just like,
Yeah.
this whole thing
No
was
one's ever
ruined
known.
Yeah,
Right,
it's like
right.
no one will ever know
Yeah.
about this. Let's just blow up.
Either that
Fine.
or we're in a simulation already, or
That's the one I don't like. That was the one that gets scary for me.
Yeah, that
or,
stinks.
or
I'm like, who's controlling me?
we're one of a billion different intelligent.
All right, let's go back to Eclipse
Sorry,
before we
back
run
to
out of
Eclipse.
time.
This
Before
Monday.
we run out of time.
OSC.org. Let's talk about what's going on at the Science Center.
We got all kinds of stuff happening at the Science Center. So obviously the eclipse is going to be visible anywhere in Florida. Depending on where you are in Florida, you'll get more or less of the eclipse. Closer to Texas, that line of totality, you'll see more eclipse. And so if you want to actually see totality, you're going to have to travel, but probably too late. All the hotels are booked up. You've missed your shot.
Yeah,
So
man.
instead, come to the Science Center because we are going to also have all kinds of really cool celebrations. We'll be talking about the eclipse in deeper ways and just going into the science and really celebrating it because the point of the eclipse there's no point. There's literally just like bodies that don't care about what they're doing in space. But our point, the point that we ascribe as humans to the eclipse, is that we're all coming together because science is awesome, and like this is our chance to celebrate it. And so the best way to do that is to go to the science center. So we'll have like viewing parties in the park, and if you get a ticket, you'll get eclipse glasses so that you can make sure you get a chance to view it in the park nice and safely. But then we'll also have things inside and outside that are going to expand your science love and education and whatnot.
I like the idea of the eclipse being a tall person. I'm the moon.
Yep.
And then the eclipse is a tall person sits in front of me when I go to the movies. It's just a random,
It really
right?
kind of is, right?
It's random. It's like he doesn't care about me, I don't care about him, and we just align,
Yep,
and
we
I
just
can't see
align.
the movie,
Yep.
and there it is.
Also, you can look at the ground during an eclipse and see basically the
devil's
beehole.
No, I don't know. I don't know what you're going to say.
Explain to me looking at the ground.
Yeah,
Spencer.
so we got ourselves here a colander, right? Little holes, and those little holes can act as pinhole viewers. So literally, you get a colander just inside your kitchen, or you create holes with your fingers. You create like little crosshatch with your fingers, or you look at tree branches that create natural crosshatches. Any small hole is going to create a projection of the sun onto the ground. This happens all the time. We just don't normally think about it because all those projections are just yellow dots and they rub together and they become just yellow light, which is the sunlight.
Gotcha.
But when it's an eclipse, you'll see that actual carve of the sun getting carved out of each of those little yellow dots. And so if you hold up a colander so that you're creating a shadow on the ground, you'll see the little eclipse inside each of those dots, and you'll see it trickling through the trees and through your hands whenever you make them. So there are other indirect ways.
Will it scare me if I do that?
Yeah, it'll be super
Will
scary.
I be instantly terrified?
Yeah.
I'm a very weak person.
Yeah,
I don't know
right.
if I've been telling everybody that today. I'm warning all of our clients and partners.
Don't tell them that.
Because I don't know if they. I don't.
You
think,
can just sit there and not tell them.
I don't know if they've ever know. I'd like to let them know what they're in for. That how horribly weak I am and disgusting.
Yeah, if you happen to forget that day and you just are looking down at the ground, just like kicking your feet, you'll see shadows on the ground.
That's
Remember
cool.
to look up, but then you can't because you don't have sunglasses. So I guess.
And there are a certain type of sunglasses, right?
Yeah, very special.
Type
We got
of
these
here.
solar glasses.
Here
Yes.
are some right here.
They've got to be a certain rating to be able to block out that light because it's still
And
you're
these
still
are-
getting light from the sun even though it's an eclipse.
Yeah, these are actually branded for. These are like specifically.
Yeah, these are special glasses.
Designed for the eclipse. There
Yeah.
you go.
These right here, they're going to block out 99.99% of light, and so they're going to make it safe. If you look through these glasses at literally any other source of light, you're not going to see anything because it's just not enough. But the sun is so dang bright, it'll pierce through that 99.99%, and you'll see it. So these are literally designed for only the sun. There's also sunoculars that are like the same material inside of binoculars that you can use, or
Well,
solar
that's a
filters
nerdy
for
name.
telescope.
Who thought of that? Sunoculars. Wow, that guy.
was,
Yeah.
that was me.
There was a chance when I said that. There
Yeah,
was
right?
a chance I was going to insult you.
Yeah.
Horribly.
I'll walk out the front door in my big baggy suit and squint. Look at it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like, my eyes can squint through it. It's fine.
My eyelashes will crosshatch.
Hey.
you can damage your eyes.
Yeah,
by
definitely.
looking
You
at
don't want to
it.
be looking at the sun any day, but you don't need to look at the sun any other day except for the eclipse, which is why we talk about it. It's not extra dangerous. It's just always dangerous,
I'll
including
end-
the eclipse.
I
So
can-
don't do it.
I can end this segment with the saddest phone call I've ever received. It was from my daughter's school yesterday, and it was from the principal. And it was him assuring, personally, he was leaving everyone a recorded message that he assured everyone that he would not allow any child to look into the sun without like proper. Like,
Perfect,
and
yeah.
I'm just like,
Well, you
is that
can't-
where we're at? Like,
That's-
is that-
yes.
like, he's like, I'm calling you to tell your dumb kids will not look at the sun. I go,
Well,
okay, fair enough.
That's our
I
education
appreciate you
dollars
trying.
at work.
I appreciate
Right, right.
Thank you for your service.
and then I'll be like, my sons will look at it.
That's the first thing I thought about. I was like, I know Maisie's gonna look at the sun.
You can't stop them all.
It's like World War Z. You
yeah.
can't stop them all. They're
Yeah.
just they start jumping on top of each other to get to the sun.
Spencer, one last question. And
Yeah.
again, OSC.org,
Yes.
the Orlando Science Center.
You have to buy tickets beforehand. Just want to make sure we say that because
Yes.
it's super important. We won't be selling tickets. Like if you walk up to the ticket counter and say, I want one, we're going to be like, you have to get it on the internet. So like just pre-buy them. We're probably going to sell out because we're all very excited.
Yeah.
So as soon as you can go on and buy that on the internet, you'll have to buy on the internet anyway. So go do it.
And if you buy your ticket online, you're going to get those glasses at the door when you come in. But we want to make there is going to be an attendance cap because we want everyone to have a great experience. So get those tickets at OSC.org in advance. get your spot, and we will see you guys on April 8th for the eclipse.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, Spencer, this is the question. Every day I take my sons to work or to school.
Yeah, they're in the bathroom right now. I don't think you guys can hear him. He's got them duct taped to the toilet.
Oh, that's
It's
who's been
weird.
yelling this whole time.
Break right now.
We drive to school in silence. So we just drive in silence. You know, like sometimes I talk to them, but it's mainly it's just nothing. So, but this morning,
I would beg for that 1 second of silence, please.
and but this morning I was just taking my son Max, 'cause my son Tommy's on a field trip to St. Augustine.
Yeah.
And so Max is, he breaks the silence and asks me a universe question, which I think is because he
see?
knows I like talking about
He's
it.
leaning in. You know, that's
Yeah.
a good kid. He's going to make friends easy because he's looking for things that you can relate to.
And
That's a good kid.
And then he's like, Dad, he's like, how many planets are in our galaxy? Right? And then so I was excited. I immediately got, I'm like, oh, you asked me a question. And then I'm like, well,
He put his beer down.
well,
He's like,
now I'm going to make up an answer because I don't know exactly.
no, that's I see Spencer's face now.
No, because I'm.
Why are you doing
Well,
that?
I'm trying to remember what me and Spencer talked about,
Yep.
and then I'm like,
Just give Max
trying to remember the
Spencer's
TikToks.
number. Let him talk.
and then
Take the
like,
middleman out.
all the time I listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson. What he said is like the problem is I can't remember specifics, but I was like, well, that's a good question, son. I'm like, I believe it's billions of planets, but also billions of stars as well. But there's I think
They're confusing
the
him.
answer, the answer is billions, and he's like, oh wow, and then also
Right back to silence.
There's billions of galaxies, so it's billions times billions to a number that our brains can't even conceive anyway. So it's pointless trying to even understand it. But we're talking about.
You do a lot of
an
this is
infinite-
pointless with yourself.
Yeah.
He does a lot of
but-
you don't even need to learn that pointless.
Whatever he can't understand. It's just like that part's pointless. It's not understandable.
you need to pick up Spencer. and then drive
Atomic
to
clocks,
school.
we don't need
Yeah,
those.
just drive to school with Spencer sitting with Max. You have 2 car seats.
Well, yeah,
you can put Spencer in the second one,
Well,
and you drive there. That wasn't a shot. I just thought that was funny, and then I thought about it. I was like, that is insulting.
You can't even comprehend billion times a billion, or whatever. You know what that number
Why are
is.
you even
or-
answering that?
But was my answer correct in the
Yeah.
billions? All
I
right,
think you got it.
knew
And I think, honestly, you answered it like a science educator because
Yeah!
I never know what I'm saying with numbers and stuff. I just don't care about numbers at all. They're so uninteresting. It's about how things come together that's interesting, right? So I always just like, they'll ask me a question and be like, I don't know, but let's start at like a base level and work our understanding up. And you did the exact science educator thing. So, I think I'm either rubbing off on you or you might have some natural talent.
I think you are. I mean, like, I'm going to put this in your court.
I can take the credit.
I think
I'm
having
all for that.
Spencer and Jeff come by has like mellowed you. He used to do these horribly inaccurate science talks in a hot tub with his son. It was like Hot Tub Thursdays. He'd get the boys in the tub, and then you'd put on the TV, and then you'd start talking about science. You started talking about nuclear bombs. You started talking about horrible things.
Right.
Just like horrible.
You
like,
should hear me
human experiments. He started talking about like
you should hear me explain
They're 4 years
the
old.
entire life
the
evolution
Manhattan
from zero.
Project. He's like describing horrible things.
I've explained the entire life evolution from zero to human
Yeah.
in a roundabout way that is probably crazy.
Do you
and
wanna know
accurate,
the conversation?
But I'm like, it starts with amino acids, and then like water. Then there's a bunch of fish, and then the fish, the frog, and then we get to.
You know what I
primate.
said to me and Maisie were talking about? Maisie said that she thought her favorite Magic basketball player was Jalen Suggs. Now she changed her favorite player. That's what we talk about. I keep it real simple.
Very different.
I keep it so simple.
yeah.
We don't do science. I let the teachers do that.
So again, OSC.org. Get your tickets for the
and
Eclipse
get them
event
online
on Monday.
and get them early.
Yeah.
We say that with a lot of things, but this one especially because I don't think I've ever seen this many people freaking out about that. I think it's going to be fun.
And just become a member to the Science Center because the new Life exhibit is opening up soon,
It's
and
coming.
that's going to be awesome because you guys have been under construction for that for a while now.
Yeah, about 2
2
years.
decades.
It's the
Oh, it's
biggest
only been
years.
years. It's
project
felt like
that-
decades.
that we've ever had. It's the largest exhibit we've ever built in our whole 70-year history.
Wow.
It's been under
Crazy, dude.
construction for 2 years. It's been in the planning for a decade. Super excited. It's coming to open soon. It's going to blow your mind. You need to come check it out.
All right.
Yeah,
Get
that's
on there now. You don't want to be the person waiting to get in there. You want to be the person that's already a member and ready to go.
Yep.
So do that now.
Again, OSC.org.
Yes, sir.
Spencer, Jeff, thanks so much for
Thank
coming
you,
by.
guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Happy Eclipse, y'all. We will be
Yeah.
right back. Awesome. That's really good, y'all. Thank you guys.
No, thank
Still
you
on YouTube and
guys.
Twitch, just so you know. Let me. Where did you want that tea?
That's Friday 1.
Thank you, sir.
Gotta play tomorrow. So sorry about that. Got that wrong. I don't know why.
No
I
worries.
didn't even notice it. I'm glad you said something. I zoomed right past it.
No.
I usually just like stop paying attention when you're talking.
Well, I could just.
I don't even know where I got it from because for some reason I had Saturday stuck in my mind.
Science Night Lies. We do them all the time.
Yeah, we have
And
we
we
have
have
an
one on
event on
Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah.
And maybe that's where I got confused.
I'm just waiting for like the internet chatter on Saturday. I am outside looking at the sun. I do not see the eclipse.
Jeff said on the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you guys again for coming in.
You
y'all.
guys want more glasses, or are you good?
I think we got a pair
I
for
mean-
everybody, and then my son.
Yeah, do you want some, sir, your boys? I
I
mean,
mean,
here.
I am happy to leave these for
Okay,
you. if you
yeah.
want them.
I'll bring
Yeah,
them
I mean,
All
we'll
right.
use them for sure. I mean,
Absolutely.
thank you very, very much. We
Absolutely.
appreciate that.
No, thank you guys. And yeah, I think we're working on getting you guys in early May to spend
Yep.
some time in life.
Oh, nice.
Tracy told me.
Yeah.
We'll go out there and it'll be good. It'll be super easy and we'll just talk about the exhibits and the animals and stuff again.
No, it's cool. I was in there this morning and the sloth was like staring at me.
Yeah, that's cool, though, man. Yeah, that's
just
awesome.
staring. He was like, "I'm sorry, dude. I have no celery." But it's really gonna be cool.
That's awesome.
All right, guys, take care.
Jeff,
Y'all
really
too.
appreciate
Cheers,
it.
y'all.
Thanks,
Always a
man.
pleasure seeing
Yes.
you guys. Spencer,
Thank you.
take care.
Thanks,
Tell the
man.
team we said hello.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right. Take care,
Go.
guys.
See you guys.
See you soon.
You got all your stuff? All right.
That was really good, dude. That was funny.
So let's do Friday 2,
Okay.
and then we'll go back and do Thursday 2,
Okay.
and
I'm
then
saving this one now. Kill that.
we could just do some voicemail.
I gotta move that camera. That's gonna bother the shit out of me, but I'll get it.
We'll work on that. That'll be our next.
I already
small
noticed
project.
something lighting the back using that. It made everybody else pop because it makes like the white behind them like
Okay.
brighter. I was messing with that. Okay. We need 12 minutes.
Because we may be able to even hang a camera from the ceiling. You know, there's some things we could probably do.
12 minutes. You wanted to do voicemails?
Yeah.
Get those. The only problem that I've had is when I do work before guests are coming, it kind of messes me up because I'll have like certain things that are like processing.
Yeah.
And then we'll go and do this and I come back and I don't know where I'm at. So I got to like almost like make notes of like, you already did this, you didn't do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I will bring us back. Here we go. In 3, 2. Welcome back to A Corporate Time.
Don't forget BDM only party on 420. You can find out all the details if you are a BDM.
420, dude.
We're going to send out another email to all active BDMs, just reminding everybody the event page is on the BDM Facebook page.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, if you are a BDM, we'd love for you guys to come out. We got a whole show and party
It's going
planned
to be awesome,
for
man.
BDMs only.
I'm excited to be able to go to our own event and see a show. Not that we've had a lot of great events. I'm not bagging on our events at all, but it's just kind of, I don't know. This is unlike anything we've done before.
Yeah.
Sign up at tomanddan.com/registration. If you've been a BDM in the past and maybe you want to reignite your membership, do it. We'd love to have you.
Yeah.
This is going to be a fun night. We could all use a party. It's been, we've eased into the year. It's been a little tumultuous. So let's hang out and have a great night.
Let's do some voicemail.
Yes, sir. You really pissed off DeBerry Joe when you hero shamed him.
Oh, God.
He called in immediately. I will play this. I'm not saying we're going to give it tons of time, but here we go.
Yo, it's Barry Joe. In reference to Tom talking some crap about me thinking a guy who made enough money to live in New York City playing his instrument was successful at it, he can think it's kind of dumb, but yeah, I idealized somebody that had a dream, lived by their dream, and enjoyed it. Tom thinks more heroes More people should have more heroes. You want something, find somebody and work towards that. Tom?
I don't even know what he's going to say here. Do you want me to play it?
Hold on.
Do you want me to play it?
You're no hero.
No.
Oh, I think that was worse than if he had cursed. The fact that he called you no hero, because I do feel like that.
Well, I know that.
I do feel like though, but you do. You can tell me if you don't want to talk about this, but I do think that there is an unhealthy obsession with you being your son's hero. Are you gonna punch me in the face?
No.
You want to be their hero, and you want it to happen so bad, right?
No.
And there's anything you would do for it. I think you'd kill me. If the devil came now and said, choke out this little business, if you choke out your little business partner, just choke him good, and may just put a pillow over his head. You have to kill him and just leave him. And then from that point on, your boys will think you are their number one hero. You would do it in a heartbeat.
I'd do it like the dad from Sanctum. I'd drown you in a small pool. But the
chat room's now coming after me. They're like, wow, that hurts. Harsh words. Agree, Dan.
I'm not telling DeBerry Joe that his hero is stupid.
But I thought that was the exact quote.
No. I'm saying I was mad at DeBerry Joe for referring to his hero by name, expecting anybody to know who the hell that is.
Okay, so he should have said, I have a hero, but you wouldn't know who it is.
No, you should have never left a voicemail. Or reference a hero that we all would know who that is.
So either if you have a hero that everybody either have a mainstream hero or keep your mouth shut. I got it. I figured it out.
That's it.
I figured it out.
Mainstream hero
or shut the hell up.
Or
okay?
don't tell nobody.
I figured it out.
Because if you tell someone your hero is some obscure person, then
my hero is comedian and writer and Center Square, Bruce Valanche. And everybody's like, I don't know who that is. And you're like, you should have kept your mouth shut, you idiot.
And then it's like telling me your dream last night. It's a nothing. Because like I don't even understand why.
I would disagree with that. Yeah. It's worth more than a dream. A dream can be nonsense. Just because your hero is not mainstream doesn't
if I don't know who your hero is and you tell me that's your hero, then I'm like, well, you told me nothing.
What if I can quantify with accomplishments?
Well, what their accomplishments?
Yeah, what if I gave you
okay,
so if I say, it was Bill Thompson, you're like, I don't know who the hell that is. And what if I say, he was the man that invented the modern day 20-ounce plastic bottle for soda?
No, that has to be someone you look up to, not your hero. Your hero can only be mainstream.
Okay. Wow, there's so many rules.
Your hero?
There's so many rules.
Yeah.
Do you have a mainstream hero?
6 out of 10 random people on the street have to know who your hero is for it to be your hero.
It has to be over 50%. Do you have a mainstream hero?
Yeah, well, I don't have any heroes. That's how.
Well, Travis Pastrana, I would agree.
No.
But I don't know if he even makes the list.
No,
because I don't know if 6 out of 10 would know who that guy is.
Yeah, no, the reason why I don't have any heroes is that
because your main hero died in a hurricane.
No, because I didn't. Well,
the real hero of your life, the reason you want to be your son's hero so bad, is you didn't even get to know your hero as well as you wanted to know him, and that was your father.
No. What are you?
I don't know. You can punch me in the face. I'm not going to Dr. Phil you or anything. I'm just saying, I'm not going to. But I'm just throwing these things out here. You can either say that's correct, I like that, or you can say you shut up.
Although my dad was brave going out.
Very brave, dude. I admire that. I really do admire that.
Yeah. But I have to go out like that for my sons to idolize me.
No, you do not.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's the only way, right?
So what am I supposed to agree? Yeah, you're right.
Because if
you're right, the only way for your sons to think you're a hero is for you to drive a boat into a hurricane.
Yeah, because if not, then you inevitably become a feeble old man that
I'm there.
That your sons or
I'm
daughters.
There. I am Orlando. I'm Orlando's weakest podcaster.
Yeah. Because you can never get to the point where your sons or daughter or
my daughter
kids,
can beat me up right now at 8.
But they see you not being the person that they fantasized in their head about.
But my daughter's never fantasized about being me or her mother. She's got bigger things. She looks at Andrea and thinks, I'll be better than you, you old lady.
So, I I'll tell you this.
Okay.
So there's a certain jealousy, even though I don't really understand that feeling.
You're not a jealous person at
But
all.
like of let's say Deion Sanders, right? Deion Sanders' sons play football.
I thought you were jealous
right?
of his feet.
No.
You want those sweet, sweet Mr. Crab pegs.
So
Did you know Deion Sanders has Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob SquarePants feet? They're just points that he stands on.
So I'm sure Deion Sanders' sons like look up to Deion Sanders like he's their coach
We don't know
now.
that. We don't know that. They may hate him. They may be like he is a blowhard.
No, but he achieved something they want to achieve, right? They're in the
Yes.
career, like their goal is to be in the NFL, and their dad did it at the highest level and
did.
became one of the most famous
Hall of
players.
Famer. Hall of Famer.
Now he's their coach. Like that kind of dad does appeal to me that I'll never he reached an apex that I'll never ever get to.
Yeah.
Because, unless my son's unless this
But
podcast,
are you in love with some stereotype that never existed to begin with, right?
Yeah. I'm sure
It's not like
if you ask those kids, they're like, my dad, like
my dad sucks.
Well, not even that he sucks. He's dumb in this aspect. He's good about, it's more
if
reality.
I hear prime time one more time, I'm going to vomit.
Yeah. It's probably in there. Maybe there's certain resentment because he's also the coach or whatever. Like I don't know if there's ever a true hero in anybody's life, because
that I would honestly agree with.
because even if DeBarry Joe met the trumpet player for whatever band he said,
It was Street Light Manifesto.
I'm sure there's lots of aspects of that guy's life because he doesn't know him that would probably be unpleasing to him. Like if DeBarry Joe saw the inside, like saw him hammer handing by himself in the bathroom.
Like making an inappropriate comment about an old lady.
Or no, just like, or like
Doing something really bad.
No one's perfect, right? No one could ever live up to an idol, right?
Well, that's why they say don't meet your heroes, right?
Yeah,
That's why there
yeah.
is a cliche about it.
So then your hero is basically almost a character of a person that you've made up in your head, right?
Yes.
Because
Most
if
of
you
the
saw
heroes-
if you saw their flaws, you would probably be like, "Oh God," it would diminish
Well,
it.
it's all perspective, right? It's not real because you're not able to see it from every angle. You see it from your own appreciative angle, and that's all you see. You're also more willing to like take anything that would be negative and just kind of not see it, right? You almost like subconsciously ignore it.
Yeah.
Because it's not what you want. Like when you want to see, when your hero is there and your hero is talking to you, you're taking it all in because you're already invested,
Yeah.
You don't have any gates up like to go like, wait a minute, I don't like, you're just like, and you're more forgiving. But yes, I get what you're saying.
But-
Most of my heroes that were like entertainment heroes weren't really my hero. You're right about that. I would agree with that.
I don't know if you do this. I imagine other people do. Is that when you
Masturbate in the freezer? Yeah.
when you see
I like it cold.
when you see someone that seemingly has a life that you look up to, right? Like, if you see someone like, oh, that guy's got it all, right? And then I immediately start looking for the bad things, so I somehow take the pressure off myself. Or then because I'm like, well, he
Ooh.
doesn't got it all.
Micro comparison.
Yeah, like, or just like this person isn't like, all that I thought he was at the time. You start looking for like bad things, or like, oh well, he doesn't have this, or
and I have that, so I'm better. That's what everybody does.
Yeah.
I think everybody does
Okay,
that.
all
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Oh.
100%.
Yeah, and I'm like, I bet he's jealous that I have this.
Yeah.
Or, like,
I need to tell him I have this. You should be jealous.
Like I see people like rich people that have like it all, but I'm like, well, they don't have kids that love them like I do, or something like
Yeah.
So everybody just looks at.
I was
something-
beating Seth, but now he's beating me. You know what I mean? Like I was killing him. Had the wife, had the kid. Oh, now he's got the wife, the kid, the boat, he got a motorcycle he doesn't even want.
Yeah, but then we just wait for it all to fall apart, and then when it does, we're like, all right, I'm
Yeah,
better.
okay, I am better.
Which is a horrible. What the hell is wrong with our
It's called
brains?
life. It's called
I
life.
know.
Here's one.
Hey guys, you're talking about YouTube generating captions or what you said during the show and giving you a printout of it. It reminds me of the captions on YouTube being so bad a couple of years ago that it just would say random stuff. So I was watching a video of like a triathlon of a guy running out of the water, and this is the caption. It says, "Youth Council wrong. Refer to the sewage and put your fish meat." And it was literally just saying like, oh, this guy is running out of the water and going to transition 1.
He talked very fast, but basically he was talking about how like most like YouTube captions, most transcript, it's not quite there yet. And for a while, you know, it's better, way better now, but YouTube would just say you would get crazy captions. Remember when that was entertainment? We are so far beyond that. We just sit there and scroll with our mini movies all day long. Entertainment used to be somebody would share with us like some grainy clip of the people that would type in the transcripts for shows, and they would like type it in wrong or make like one mistake, and we'd be like, "Bah, it's so funny." We're so far beyond that now.
Yeah, no, I know.
So far beyond that. I hate where we are now. I beg for simpler jokes and simpler things.
I mean, remember, I'm sure it's still a thing, but the people would basically the lip sync thing where they would put their own words into someone's
bad lip reading was one of them, and then there's shreds when you do it with bands and you deliberately take their movements and then you play horrible music behind it, but you sync it up so it looks like they're playing it. Those are called shreds. I like all that stuff, but I'm also at a weird spot where I'm also bored of it. I don't know if any other people my age, maybe it's like people that are like 45 years of age, right? It's like I am at a point right now where I look at AI, I look at computer, video games, this computer in front of me, state of the art, everything around me. I love it. I look at it, I see the value. I think it's great. There's also a part of my body begging for it to go away. It like hurts me. I'm just like, it's enough. No, I can't do it anymore. It's too much.
Well, it'll never go away. And here's how I know is I didn't know this, but apparently like Crystal just told me she's a chaperone on Tommy's field trip.
Yeah.
And they allow the kids to bring their own cell phones now.
Oh, wow.
And so she said everybody in the bus has a cell phone and is just looking at it on the bus. It's kind of quiet because everyone's just head down looking at their own cell phone. And
different experience.
And Crystal's like, this is new. And this is probably going to be the norm moving forward because
you won't need chaperones. You just like keep them on the screen. If they're locked into the screens, they won't go anywhere.
Yeah, they're not as wild and stuff. Like Crystal went on another field trip with a non-cell phone bus, and she said every kid will scream wild. Like, you know what I'm saying? And she's like, it is a difference,
wild
but she's
in
like,
the streets.
But it also makes me sad that everybody's just looking at their own cell phone.
Yeah.
And
you're supposed to be talking to girls, you're punching a fat kid in the face, teasing, bullying them.
Yeah, none of that
trying
happened.
to get laid, you're making out.
Yeah. Everybody's just bullying in their cell phone, digital bullying.
What happened to writing inappropriate words on the brown and green bus seats with a ballpoint pen? Draw a pentagram on there.
Or like you start taking the stuffing out and throwing it out the window.
You throw the stuffing out the window. We used to blow up condoms and throw them out onto cars because if they were lubricated, they'd stick in the window because they have the lubrication on there. We didn't know what it was. We called it grease.
You pull down the window and then you start spitting at cars next door.
This makes me a bad person, and I don't even need to share this, but I'm going to because I think it makes us more relatable to the audience. Once a year, I look up that story where that old lady got bullied by her bus. The bus driver. The old lady bus driver got bullied by her.
It was a chaperone, I thought, on a field trip, and then the kids.
The kids yelled at her.
Oh, was it the bus driver? It may have been the bus driver. I can't remember now.
I'll have to see. It's about time for me to look it up and refresh my memory.
It was a fat old lady.
Yeah, the fat old lady.
I only say that because the internet gave her like $300,000 for this.
I thought it was more than that.
It was.
I want to say it was more
It was
than
some
that.
ridiculous amount that she didn't deserve. Like just for some kid. Like first of all, tell those kids to shut the F up. You know, like you're an adult. They shouldn't be bullying. You shouldn't 8-year-olds should be bullying you.
You're gonna be mad. It was 2012. Don't look at the screen.
Okay,
it was 2012.
Yeah.
Okay, they did a fundraiser. It was an Indiegogo.
Okay.
30,000 people from 84 countries contributed to this lady's fund.
All right.
She's 68-year-old Karen Klein. This was before Karen was a bad word. This Karen. Okay, ready? You want to know what she got?
Okay.
Ready?
How much?
$750,000.
Oh my God. That's too much.
You said $300K. You were way off.
What the hell is wrong with our society? Like you give a lady that was some 10-year-olds were. Call her names for what? 15 minutes on their way back to the zoo, and you
She
gave her
was,
750 grand?
Okay, so
Like, there are people dying of cancer out there. Like, there are kids that, like,
okay, their
what the hell?
sympathies. People's sympathies were stirred by a cell phone video of the taunting uploaded to YouTube by a student on the bus. The amount far exceeded the expectations. They were looking for $5,000. I want to
Yeah,
know. There was. I remember watching the video and not having any ounce of.
It
Did
wasn't
she
even
cry?
that
Did
bad.
they make her cry?
Yeah, but it wasn't even that bad. I mean, and also, you were an
I mean, it's
adult.
certainly not that bad now. She got $750,000.
You're an adult granny who grew up, I mean, you know, in the 60s and 70s, a harder time. You should be telling those kids to shut the hell
okay.
up.
Maybe we should give her the money. This part I didn't know, and this is why you can always be wrong. You can always be wrong. Never be afraid to be wrong. Klein told CBS this morning back in June that she plans on spending a lot of the money on her children. Brian, one of Klein's 3 grown children, he's a financial advisor. The video shows Klein trying to ignore a stream of profanity, insults, and threats from 7th grade boys. At one point, a student said to Klein, quote, "You don't have a family because they all killed themselves because they don't want to be near you." Klein's oldest son had killed himself 10 years prior. How do they know that?
Yeah, but that kid didn't know that, so he's just saying nonsense. Why are you
I
letting
don't
a
know
kid
that. Maybe
tell
he
you
knew
that?
Maybe it's spread
Yeah,
around
but
the
still-
school.
but still,
Maybe it's spread around the school.
There are people that have way worse things happen to them. They don't get $750,000. They get some punk kid, 7th grader. Who cares?
That's not her fault. It's not her. She's not the money police. She can give the money. I'm not flipping my dude on this now. I'm not even flipping my dude on
No, I'm mad at the people who gave her the money. Too much.
Would you be mad to know if I had given, maybe back in 2012, I'd given her $20 of T&D Media's money? We
But-
didn't have any money back then.
But there's lots of better charities than like some 7th graders mean to an old lady. Who cares? It should be a nothing. That,
Yeah, no, I agree
be
with you.
tougher than anyway. All right, bye.
Toughen up, old lady. God, that's the one thing I can't do is watch the clock. We're fine.
Was that way too long?
No, we're fine. But it was getting close. Good job. Where's that go?
That's Friday too.
Friday 2, and then we are good.
Unless that's
now
because we could put that Thursday too. I don't know what we need for Thursday too. If we need
I
20.
can tell you. For Thursday, we need. They're both exactly the same. They're both 28.
Oh, okay.
So it can be either. It's not going to matter.
Okay.
Let's do it Friday. Okay. And then we're doubling back, and we'll just do a 12.
Yeah, we'll do a 12-minute, and we'll try to. I'll make sure we keep it at 12.
Okay. There's something I wrote down to talk about. Oh, fresh gardenia. You weren't in the back of the bus with the cool kids? I usually rode in the front, not because I wasn't cool, but I wanted to get off fast as fuck. I didn't want to have to walk all the way. That's lazy, I guess.
And I vaguely remember, but I don't think it was it's not the 1950s. Like in the 90s, it wasn't a back of the bus, front of the bus, cool, not cool. I remember not being a thing.
All right. Here we go. Why don't you bring us back in 3, 2.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. What do you want to talk about,
Let's
Daniel?
do a couple of emails. I got these sitting over here, and there's a lot of them, and they're kind of like stacking up here. This one is from Umberto, which you will know. This is our very good friend. He is Stormtrooper Bert.
No, really.
This let me tell you a little something about Stormtrooper Bert. Dude has been listening to us and supporting us since our very first studio, and he's a hell of a nice man.
Yes.
Like if you ever called him, you needed something nerdy, you needed some Stormtrooper stuff, that is your guy, and he has one of the coolest and big. You know what? I'm gonna book him for a Weird Hobby Wednesday because he has one of the largest collections of Transformers I've ever seen in my life. Like the real
Transformers?
ones. The real ones that are worth a ton of money.
I thought it was only Star Wars guy.
No, dude, he's all the nerd stuff.
Oh,
But
yeah.
anyway, he left us an email. He's got a picture here. It says, "Hey, fellas, just listen to the Pecker Bush BDM show where Tom mentioned the awkward moment of breasts being on the screen in the middle of an airplane flight. Well, here's the same movie with the same scene edited on JetBlue. They edited a dress on Florence Pugh's character. I don't know if you can see that, but yes, they did like a very
Really?
poorly drawn, so she wouldn't be nude. I can put this on Twitch. You can see that they just put like a maxi dress, like a skin-tight maxi dress.
Yeah,
That
because I
works.
remember that scene.
Works.
Her tees are out in
Yeah,
that scene.
That works. That's not bad.
It's weird
That can't be that hard either, and it doesn't change the movie, and then nobody gets awkward. Not a bad idea, JetBlue.
It's weird that JetBlue did that. You would think that there would be a specific, because I don't think JetBlue must have just gotten an edited version from whatever they get their entertainment from. Like,
Well, why wouldn't you just do that to make it just okay? If you were a company, oh God, and I don't even know the answer to this. I'm already thinking like what T&D Media would do. If we had a plane and we knew that there was a potential to fly our BDMs around, right? And we knew that there were going to be kids on the flight, and we knew that we could cut down on complaints, and we know that they're going to be moms and dads that might complain if they're going to be boobs, then why wouldn't you just get the edited version no matter what? Why would you even care to get the unedited version? Just get the edited version. No one's going to complain, and then you're good.
maybe people would complain that you're
I
editing.
needed boobs on my plane. No,
Yeah.
if you complain about needing the movie that you're watching,
But what if there's
in
no
flame-
kids? I mean, sometimes
No, it's not.
there's no kids around
it's,
you.
It look, it's a family. It's like going to like Disney. Sorry, you can't wear a shirt with the F word on it. Sorry, that's just the rules.
Yeah.
You're in the
because
air. This is a business. We don't have nudity on our movies. No big deal. If you want a movie, go to the movie theater. If you want a flight, you go with us. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is weird that this has never really been brought up.
Why take the
But
chance?
the fact that it's edited on JetBlue means that they're cognizant of it, or at least JetBlue is, and other airlines must be too. It's
Look, I'm not a
interesting.
prude, and nobody likes nudity and pornography more than me. I'm just saying, if you're flying, to
Yeah,
cut down on the likelihood of there being a complaint or an issue or Tom's uncomfortableness.
Or kids
Yeah.
seeing it.
I don't want to
sitting in
take
a
away
seat
their
next to them.
innocence. I'm not that. You scarred me with that story. I remember that man. Tell that story real quick so people know what I'm talking about.
Hey, okay, well, a buddy of mine's a teacher, and he heard a story from another teacher that was showing a YouTube video about the Giving Tree,
Yes.
that popular children's book.
Very popular, The Giving Tree. Everybody knows that.
And so she went out, like, while it was playing, and her students were watching it, she walked outside, or like walked over to the door to talk to another teacher. And she was monitoring the screen, and she didn't realize that it basically, YouTube videos, they'll go to the next video, I guess the next most popular video, and that happened to be a mockery of the Giving Tree called the Very Giving Tree, where it was the same animation, it looked the same,
in the same style.
in the same style,
Yeah.
but it was about the people going around the tree, and then there was insinuating that they were doing it and their clothes are flying off behind the tree. You know what I'm saying?
It's
And
an
she didn't know-
inappropriate video.
and the teacher didn't know. They didn't show anything, but it insinuated that two people went behind a tree and took their clothes off, and they were like kissing noises. Anyway, it was and she didn't. And then she went and stopped it, but the kids already saw it. Then she had to have meetings. Or
You're almost getting fired for something you didn't. Yeah.
Well, the principal, or you had to have meetings with parents, and then one of the parents was like, "You took away my child's innocence," and then
That's the one. That's the phrase.
how am I
that
supposed
got
to
me.
get my child's innocence back?
I don't know how to answer that. And when I heard that phrase, that one got me because I'm like, you're right.
Which,
By the way, Maisie's never seen that because Maisie's never been to a movie. Maisie's never been to a concert. We keep her in a cage.
my sons have been exposed to things on YouTube that have taken their innocence away a
No,
little bit.
Maisie's got her
I
innocence.
know,
still.
right, yeah.
She's still got it. She's still a kid.
Yeah. My sons,
See, kiddo.
like, and I've heard about. They're like, one of them was I let them watch The Simpsons and Family Guy now.
Oh my God. Family
they
Guy,
love
dude.
Family Guy.
Yeah, of course they do.
And then they watch.
That reminds me of the time I let my son watch something he shouldn't be watching.
They watched a couple episodes of South Park. One of the episodes was like Big Gay Al's zoo.
That's a classic.
Yeah,
The Big Gay
yeah.
Al. Big Gay Al's probably my favorite South
Yeah.
Park character.
and that there was lots of inappropriate jokes and stuff that they don't even way over their head and stuff. And then when my son's innocence gets taken away, which it has, I just think all I think is like, there it goes. Because I'm like, it eventually was gonna happen.
Yeah, it's like watching. It's like you're at a baseball game and a napkin blows out of your hand, blows out of the field.
You're like, well, this eventually was. It was inevitable.
It was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Nothing can be done.
Like one day they will be doing. I mean, the things that I do or have done. And I know and I'm like, I've done some horrible.
You shut up.
I don't want my sons doing that, but the one day they will. So, but whatever it starts, it's inevitable. So if there was a way for it never to happen, then it would be devastating if it happened. But since it's eventually going to happen anyway, I'm fine with it happening anytime.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
I've got mine dialed in. I don't know how, but it's still there, at least for right now.
Now rip the Band-Aid off.
No.
Yeah, because it's better. Because then if you wait too long, then it's devastating. When she's like 23.
I think Andrea waited too long. I destroyed Andrea's innocence.
Yeah, when she was in her 20s.
That's what I want for Maisie. I want an old lady. I want her to right now. I want you to stay old lady until like 25, 26, and then you can move on. You can move out of the house at 26. Next email. Subject line is Rogan. Hey, Dan, hope you are well. Might be a stupid question, but have you guys considered interviewing him, Joe Rogan, or perhaps being on his show? He brings podcasters on all the time. Anyways, just my thoughts. Chris. Write that down.
Write
down Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
I'll send an email
Let
this
me email.
afternoon.
Yeah, we'll get on a show.
I probably get us on there.
I often wonder, and no offense to Chris, because he's a listener, and
I don't know. You've been pretty spicy today. You might be totally offense to Chris.
And I know we shouldn't insult our callers, our listener, to Barry
Damn,
Joe.
EJ just said the worst thing in the chat room. I can't even repeat what EJ said to Chris about Chris in the chat room. Wow, dude.
Because then this dissuades people from ever emailing or calling us again by us insulting.
It does. We get no voicemails and no emails now. Not a one. And I think it's your fault. I blame you 100%. I need emails, show@tomandan.com, and I need voicemails, 1-844-TOMNDAN, or just use the mediocre app. But I think you've chased them all away with your accidental D-head.
But does Chris think that, of course, we would love to go on Joe Rogan's podcast for the marketing potential that would offer us?
I have no interest in going on Joe Rogan's show.
And then so would every other person, almost anybody at this point, because his show is so big. Maybe not as big as it used to be.
The only show I'd go on now is Yay. I'd go on with Yay, but that's it.
It's an impossibility to get onto that show.
Nothing can be done.
Well, because no way Joe Rogan's going to have some no-name podcasters from Orlando on his show.
We need to blow up like Jelly Roll.
If
we blow up like Jelly Roll, we can get in
there.
Yeah. You got to be the hottest thing.
If you're the hottest thing, because Joe Rogan's a huge show.
And Jelly Roll still is, but was. I mean, I think he peaked. I think you're seeing him come back down a little bit. He may peak again. You never know.
I will tell you, and this is all in retrospect, but I do think about, but again, retrospect is 2020, of course.
You know what? I'm going to blow your mind. I don't know what retrospect means.
It just means looking back at
the
reality. So there was a time where when Segura and Burt Kreischer and stuff were coming in here, and Burt Kreischer was telling me about his podcast. He's like, "Oh, how'd you guys build
on your
this?"
computer?" He logged into his account, and we had all of his stats. We could have stolen his accounts.
No, well, not that, but I'm saying some way at that point we could have somehow finagled our way maybe onto Rogan's show at that time through his relationship, but we would have to push really hard, and even at that
we'd
time
have to do Matt Rife's sexual favors, like the rumors.
It could have happened maybe back in the day if you'd have pushed and been almost a little uncomfortable about hey, get us on this or whatever. We'll help you with this.
I'm not good at that. I've never been good at saying hey, can you help us
asking
out?
for favors or
I'm the worst at
or
that.
somehow
I'd rather fail than ask for a favor.
because even back then, when someone like Burt Kreischer would look at us like contemporaries, we knew he was way bigger, but he may have been and he probably knew that.
I always looked at us as being bigger.
But we
even now I still do. Even now I still look at us being bigger. It's wrong, but it's how I do it.
But there could have been a time in a small window of time, maybe 10 years ago, 8, 9. When is he on the
maybe
show?
10.
Yeah, that we could have, like, back when Rogan's
Oh,
only
it hasn't
sponsor
been
was
10.
Fleshlight.
It hasn't been 10 since he's been on. It's been maybe 6 since he hasn't been on.
I think it's more than that.
I don't think so. It was
No?
right before the pandemic. We
Was
had him
it?
in. Yeah.
I thought it was like 6, or maybe we started the studio at
6
16.
feels right.
It was 2018.
And we had him in at 18. Yeah.
18? Yeah. So around 18, but like back when Rogan's only sponsor was Fleshlight, was probably like 2016, 17. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe
Like,
so, yeah.
And at that time, easier to get on a show like that. So anyway, but to answer your question, we'll go if a show. How it works is you have to be equal in popularity, or at least perceived
Or
as
offer
bigger.
a story. I mean, if we, like, you know what would have been the perfect time and we missed the window? But when, years ago or a couple of years ago when we released, I don't know, like 5 years ago, maybe 6, when we released our documentary about leaving radio. That would have been like, hey, we have a cool story to tell, and it's
promote it,
packaged,
yeah.
and it's like a whole tale that we can walk you through about how we went independent and we were okay. I mean, now it's kind of like, it's fine.
Everybody's on that. And then, but also, that may not even have been a big enough story
it
to even
wasn't.
have
It
something
wasn't.
on that big of a show.
It was to us, but it wasn't to him.
Yeah. So it's impossible. So
Yeah,
nothing
can be done. But I don't want to kill your spirit. I liked your email. You know what? Send us an email next week about getting us on Mark Maron, and I'll answer you a different way.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. Nice. That is
Thursday, too.
2.
And that's
we
it.
just got to do some intros, right?
Yep. Just 2 intros, and we're good.
All right, guys. Well, I guess we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out with us today. It was super fun. And,
we'll be back tomorrow. We didn't hear from Krista yet if we have that comedian coming in.
I didn't hear anything from her.
I'll ask her before we talk about it. So.
Yep. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.